Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary wine is what we're making today. So come, let's go and make some fantastic Bloody Mary wine. Awesome. And yes, what a wonderful Bloody Mary wine recipe I have for us today. I have spent the past few months trying to perfect the right balance of the tomato, that rich tomatoey base flavour with the right amount of chilli and spice and proper flavour to bring a Bloody Mary into a wine glass. I think I have cracked it, and I think you will love it when you try to make this recipe. It's brilliant. It is a Bloody Mary in a wine glass, in a wine bottle. Wow, you will love this. So let's get on to the recipe. Now, one of the main ingredients to make a really good Bloody Mary is a decent dash of Tabasco sauce and Worcestershire sauce. Now, I am not using either of these in the wine because they both contain vinegar, and vinegar is not suitable to be added to any wines at all whatsoever. So please do not add vinegar in any form to your wine. It is not good. So instead of Tabasco, I am using standard raw chili peppers. You can choose the strength you like. If you love the deep heat, go for a strong pepper. If you're not too keen on the strength, go for a not so strong pepper. Your choice entirely. It is your wine. Adapt it to how you want it to be. So with the peppers, I always find that they are better if you roast them for this purpose. I have tried raw and they work, so if you don't want to roast them, you don't need to, but I find they release more flavour and more sweetness once they have been roasted. So simply grab your peppers and wrap them into some silver foil, make a lovely little parcel, and put them into the oven for about 20 minutes, half an hour on a high heat until they've got all soft and released all that juice and added extra sugar. With the chili peppers roasting away in the oven, releasing their sweet, delicious, chili, sweet, divine flavour ready for your Bloody Mary, you want to move on and start making the Bloody Mary tomato base for your wine. Without tomatoes, your Bloody Mary wouldn't be a Bloody Mary. It'll be more of a Mary, and I can't really legally make a Mary wine. That'd be cannibalism. So you want to start with your sugar, and I'm going to be adding 1.25 kilograms of sugar into a saucepan and add some water, boiling water, just to dissolve it. So put your sugar on the heat and give it a stir to help it dissolve. With your chili peppers roasting in the oven and your sugar dissolving and simmering, we can move on to the tomato base. For this we are using a kilogram of passata, that's about a litres worth, and also 1 tin of chopped tomatoes. I have made tomato wine before from both passata and tinned tomatoes, and both work brilliantly. And I have found this combination works really well for the Bloody Mary, where it's a litre's worth of passata and 1 tin. I've tried different variations where I've had more chopped tomatoes and more passata, but this one I think gives the best flavour for the Bloody Mary wine. So all we need to do is open up the cartons and the tin and shove it into the sugar. Simple as that. Chunks and all, just add it all straight into that sugar. With your passata and your tinned tomatoes in with the sugar, give it a quick stir. Just get all those flavours beautifully mixed in. Oh, that's going to be divine. Sweet, tomatoey, perfect base for a Bloody Mary. Now there's another ingredient I want to add at this stage, and that is a really good dash of black pepper. Because every Bloody Mary needs a decent sprinkle, pour of black pepper in the mix. It's beautiful stuff it is. I love black pepper. Anyway, pour in a decent shake. I would add about 3-4 teaspoons. So 3 or 4 teaspoons should be the ideal amount, but it does come down to your personal taste. If you like it spicy and hot, add a bit more. If you aren't, add a bit less. Your choice. So 3-4 teaspoons, shake it all in, or measure it out. And your chili peppers should be ready to come out the oven now. Hot stuff. Oh, yes. So for getting out of the oven, open up the silver foil wrapper and smell that divine, blissful chili pepper sweetness and spice coming from them. So get them out of the oven, chop them up, and add them to your wonderful Bloody Mary mix. Fantastic. That is smelling and tasting absolutely sublime, divine, brilliant. That is a pinnacle of Bloody Mary in its raw state. All it needs is the alcohol, which will follow when we start fermenting the wine. And this wine takes about 6 months to mature to come to its pinnacle best state. If you drink it before, it's still a bit raw, that chili is still too much on the high notes. But then once it does mature, after 6 months, it is perfect. So, next step, get your tomato sauce, mix passata tomatoes and chili peppers onto a simmer for about 20 minutes. Then just simmer away, nice gentle heat, don't boil it, and I'll be back with you in about 20 minutes after a cuppa as my Bloody Mary mix simmers away. So I'll see you in a minute now. And I'm back after a cuppa. The Bloody Mary wine has been simmering away, behaving and filling the kitchen with this divine aroma. Oh, I can't wait to move on to the next step with you. And the next step is one of the fun ones. Well, it's all fun. Winemaking is fun in general. But you get to play with a buzzy and get tomato sauce all over the walls as if there's been a massacre. Brilliant. So what we need to do, grab the stuff, the Bloody Mary saucepan full of tomato sauce and chili peppers, and buzz it. Get all those chunks and lumps all buzzed up and mushed up. Oh, wow, this is fantastic. Anyway, let's get buzzing, mashing, switching, pureeing, softening, blending, whatever you want to call it. Get that buzzy thing in, either a food processor or a hand buzzy, and bring out all that juice from all the clumps that are over there, that are in there. Fantastic stuff. Right then, let's get buzzing. And with that bloodbath of the massacre over, it's now time to put that lovely sauce, the concentrate of tomatoes, that Bloody Mary base into a clean, sanitised, sterilised demijohn. So grab your funnel, which I have lost. I'm always losing my funnels. I don't know where they go. It must be the house gnome or something. So I'm using a cut-off bottle. So pour in your base juice into your demijohn. Fantastic stuff. One of the reasons you blitzed it was to try to remove all the big lumps of tomatoes. But if you missed some and some big lumps went into the demijohn, that's not a problem. They will simply break up and all the flesh would sink to the bottom of the wine. With a thick Bloody Mary concentrate in your demijohn, you want to fill it up to just below the shoulders with cool water. And with that partly filled up, you want to add your yeast. Now I'm using a delicious yeast starter for this wine because I wasn't sure if my yeast was still good because it's been so long since I brewed. So I'm using a yeast starter, but you can always just sprinkle in your yeast as you would do normally. So pour in your sachet of yeast or your teaspoon of yeast or your yeast starter and pour that in, and then we're nearly done. Brilliant stuff. So now what we need to do is just add an airlock to the demijohn and set this aside in a warm place for about a week or so. After a week, you'll notice that a lot of the tomatoes and the sediment has fallen to the bottom. That's fine, that's perfectly normal. And then you want to rack off your wine. After that week, when everything has dropped to the bottom, take all the liquid off the old sediment and put it into a new, sanitised, sterilised demijohn and top it right the way up and tuck it away until it stops fermenting. Then ideally you want to store it and mature it for about 6 months until you bottle it. Then once it's bottled, you have Bloody Mary in a wine bottle, in a wine glass, whenever you fancy it. No need to go out and buy vodka and all the ingredients and faff around making it. Just open up a bottle and there it is, Bloody Mary in your wine glass good to go. So I hope you've enjoyed this recipe, and I'll see you really soon for the next weird, wonderful, brilliant, ingenious, fantastic, tasty wine recipe. You have a good day now. See you soon.